Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 3 of the New Zealand versus Australia International Indoor Bowls Test match coming from Ballarat, Victoria in Australia. What a great test it's been the last 2 days, and this is the last day. I think Australia has a 2-point lead going into today, so they've got their nose in front. It's been pretty tight. Started off morning session on Thursday. Australia went away, won 4 out of the 5. The Kiwis came back in the afternoon to tie it all up, 11 all. And then yesterday, 3 games basically came down to the last end, and Aussie picked up all 3 of them. So to really put their nose in front by 1 game or 2 points. So medal games up for grabs too. So just to give you an update on the medal games, the men's singles, Australia have that medal. The ladies singles, New Zealand has that medal. And the ladies fours, Australia has that medal. In the men's pairs, Australia has that medal. In the men's triples, New Zealand has that medal. And the ladies triples, New Zealand has that medal. The rest of them are up for grabs. The organisers have put on the TV mat. The organisers have put on the TV mat 2 medal games. So the game we're going to cover this morning is the men's fours. So that's just looking at that. That is all tied up. New Zealand has a 42-40 differential, so they're up by 2 points. So New Zealand can win or draw to medal, according to my stats.
That sounds good, Dave.
Alex. So that's the game we're going to take this morning. We'll obviously give you updates throughout the morning on all the other games. And Mr. Sargent is in the seat again to give us those updates. Much appreciated. And then this afternoon we're going to be taking another medal game, the ladies pairs, which will be a classic finish to the day, which will be the legend from Australia, Monica Corn, against our star Terry Blackburn. So that'll be a terrific game this afternoon. So they're just doing the warm-up ends for the game here. Now on the panel today we've got Candice Andrew again on the switching. Been here all the last 3 days, so thank you, Candice. We've got Alex Reid, and we've got a new guest Australian commentator today, Eric Mayhew from New South Wales. Alex, I'll hand it over to you, and let's get proceedings underway.
Oh, okay. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, it's. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. It's been a good test match so far. As you say, we're on day 3, and you can see already the singles games are underway, because obviously it's a small amount of trial bowls to play as we watch the last trial end of the men's fours. How have you found the test, Eric?
I think the atmosphere has been amazing. Even this morning, walking in and seeing some of the New Zealand supporters with their pom-poms out, and yeah, it's been absolutely unreal. And even though I haven't played a bowl yet, it's been really, really good to watch some high quality bowls so far. Absolutely,
and this should be a good matchup in the men's fours. I think Dave said it's 1 game each, so this is the one it comes down to. Have you had much to do with any of the men's fours players, Eric?
Yeah, look, we've played against. I played against Errol in the singles in 2019, the men's singles at nationals. Hayden, we've recently finished our national championships in Devonport in Tasmania last week, and I had the chance of playing against Hayden Weir, who will be playing second in this game in our final game at nationals. So, quite familiar with the players, and I'm also bunking down with the skip, Shane Cashel, also known as Sandman, which I don't know if you've been made aware of that nickname. But
latest better than ever, isn't it? So we can use that during this game.
We'll be calling him Sandman for short.
Most definitely, but look, yeah, it should be a really high quality game. I think the Aussies got up in the first one, and New Zealand showed some fight to get back in that second game. So I think it's going to be very exciting.
Well, it was if you didn't catch it, it was a close finish yesterday in the men's fours. I believe the New Zealand team, they were comfy-ish up, weren't they? Anyone who was watching, I think they were, and it came down to that last end. I think it went for some ridiculous amount of time, like 3.5 hours. We were all square last end, and sort of managed to just hold on. So these teams yeah, they'll be well prepared for this third game.
Definitely, yeah. And look, just a disclaimer, I know Fluffy's very popular in the commentary, especially over in New Zealand, so I believe he wants some time to enjoy the bowl, so hopefully I can do him proud and
we don't
see how
like
he
him at
goes.
all.
I'm sure you will.
We don't like him at all.
you
He's far too parochial for us. He certainly balances up, so you're going to have your hard act to follow there, Eric.
I can't admit to being an unbiased commentator, I'm afraid, but I'll do my best.
No, we love Fluffy. He's great. But he's going to be here this afternoon, so for the Fluffy fans, they'll be tuning in this afternoon. But we'll do what we can today. Exciting stuff.
Last bowl of the practice ends, so we'll be underway very soon.
All right.
And just a reminder, if you are tuning in to watch this, we try and put it everywhere that we can, but it's hard. So if you're tuning in to watch it, please feel free to share it onto your personal Facebook profile and see if you can get the game out and about. It's as good as Into a Bowls gets, really. It's going to be some pretty high quality stuff for the entire day and something good to do with your Saturday. So we see Sean Blackburn deliver the first jack of this game. 18 ends they will play. Starting off on his back end. If I remember rightly, that's the one that doesn't swing quite as much.
Yeah. So this is Errol Ware, father of the Errol and Hayden front two.
It's pretty cool to have a family sort of dynamic in that fours team. Here's a question to start you off with, Eric. So I spoke to Fluffy about it yesterday. When you've played your bowl, do you put the opposition's bowl on the square when you play, or is that something that happens in New South Wales?
A little bit of a mix. Some of our players do. It's not something that I personally like to do, but I think it's one of those things that's a habit or part of your routine when you do bowl. So, something I have noticed that a lot of the New Zealanders do as part of their sort of bowling routine.
It's a cardinal sin if you don't do it in New Zealand. It's not in the laws, but if you don't do it, you will get a look. And then if you don't do it again, it might be more than the look might be upgraded. So it's just something that or all the Kiwis would do it out of habit. I can't not do it because it's one of the first things you're taught when you play into bowls is you put your opposition's bowl on the square after you've played it. But it is one of the differences between the two codes.
There you go. I'm learning something new every day.
I've only just got started, as we see Gary Lowe.
Oh, Gary
Great
Lowe,
shot
what a
there.
bowl. First bowl of the
That's a great opener.
game.
Gary Lowe from Invercargill, Southland.
Hayden on his back end. It's not going to be a million miles away.
That's a good spot.
Happy enough with that. Gary's first bowl is pretty good, so he'll just be thinking, look, I can do the same thing again.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's too
Even
good
better than the
openers.
same thing again. It's a good start here from the New Zealand 4. Hayden just slightly overplaying it. Looks like Paul's just going to hoof down on his backhand as well.
Hoof down.
Yep.
That's a...
I don't want to talk about it. That's the word I'm using.
Okay, I'm not
going
gonna question it.
Hoof down.
Hoof down,
That's
yes.
like a starving man with McDonald's would hoof down his meal. But
I did this morning and it was pleasant. Reasonable bowl there from Paul.
You certainly come up with some clangers, but hoof down. I like it.
Thank you. So Angus here, so what's he looking to do, do you reckon, Eric?
Look, quite similar to what Gary was doing, just drawing down back in the back blue bowls, maybe fall over and get shot, but definitely just need one in the head there. So
I suppose that short blue's handy-ish, isn't it? Because, if you clear that, you're going to be okay. And if you don't,
out the way
if you
now
don't clear
anyway.
it, it's not going to be quite so good.
it's not such a bad bowl. It's opened up the head now, so
All right, Paul Wright. New Zealand captain. Standing up and watching this bowl
Pretty
as
good.
it comes back into the head. That's a great shot there from Paul Wright.
That is a terrific bowl.
Great bowl. I believe this is his third test match, I think. He would have played 15, 19 and this year. Paul Wright, he's a good bowler. Got a few national titles in our domestic game. What's happening here, Eric?
Anyone know where the kitty is?
I think it's near the Blues.
I believe, I don't know how to explain it, but it's right there.
Oh no, that's perfect. Candace has just pointed
Just
to it
pointed
on
at
the
the
screen,
screen.
viewers. So
That's helpful.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you're well informed now.
It's behind the second blue that you can see at 5. You got
So
the
you're
blue at 5
suspecting
o'clock.
maybe 3 blues at the moment?
At
Yes.
least 2. Yeah.
I think Angus will be looking to draw this on his forehand. And
Yeah.
It's a big swing out there. He's going to have to.
Yeah,
put
he's
it right
using
on
the square.
edge.
You can see him sort of taking it underneath the line to get that bowl to hold
he's
at the
got it
end.
out.
Got the line.
He's
got it
given
out.
us every chance.
Oh, beautiful
Whoa,
line.
Beautiful effort that was. He would have felt like it was a chance most of the way.
Well, he put it right out there, and it had to be, right?
Yeah.
So
Something we saw Joy Archer do on the streaming mat yesterday, because that hand is a big swing. And when you zoomed in and saw the delivery angle, Joy was cutting that sideline to get the bowl out on a wide swing, and Angus did the same thing then. He just took it he moved far to his left and got the bowl to go out before it came back in, sort of thing.
And of course, the New Zealand players are just fighting their head with that, because you can't play.
We're not allowed to
outside
do
of
it in New
the
Zealand,
side of
no.
the square
Yeah.
in New Zealand. So, and the international, as long as it goes over the front of the box, it's legal.
Yeah.
So you can go anywhere outside of the box. So which really is foreign to the New Zealand players.
Yeah, usually you can see the New Zealand players who've been in the team more than once by how much they use their square.
Yeah, great
Good
shot.
bowl there from Paul Smith.
That's potentially 4 there.
I think we're holding 4. And there's not much on other than a draw, is there, Eric? Can he hit? Is there anything to hit?
I'm careful to call it because one of our nicknames for Angus in Australia is the Angry Angus. So, I'm not sure what he'll be thinking here. I guess he had the line, was well down last time. So I'd be inclined to stick with it. But
Just see.
I guess depending where the jack is.
Well, this is the Sandman.
He looks like the Sandman. Looks like he's drawing here.
How good are you? You can see he's taking that nice angle on his
Yep.
forehand. Well, it doesn't look like it's far away, to be honest.
Wow, he rode the paint.
A beautiful effort there.
Right,
We've seen a perfect green twice from the Australians. That's how hard it can be on that. It's the first end. They're staring down the barrel of 3.5 down.
This is when you're a skip, right? You're playing the first end of an international 4 down, and you've got to draw it
Yeah,
on a wide hand. That's
that doesn't thrill me.
You'd hand that job over to anyone, wouldn't you? And just say, nah, not me
Absolutely.
today.
Quite glad to be sitting in the commentary box rather
Yeah.
than playing at the moment. So
The positive of that is we never miss a bowl, and we're never wrong.
that's what I've been saying to the team all week. I haven't bowled any bad bowls,
Yeah.
so you guys need to pick up your game. To be honest.
Very cool.
Dave, how about you get up and go over little squiz and see where that kitty is exactly?
Okay, I might do, but I'm not sure Paul's got much on here. He might even try and block this draw, eh?
Maybe we'll see. We know when Momi lets it go.
Yeah, that's a block.
Yeah, across the head.
He wants to put it right on somewhere near the very edge.
Jeez, look at that swing. Fair enough. Well, he hasn't made it worse.
Well, I think the risk was in just trying to get another one there. He could set something up. They're obviously happy with what they've got there.
Yeah. So we're sitting with 4. Shane and Angus are just going to have a nosy. I suppose the first thing you do is look to see if there is anything to hit. And if there isn't anything to hit, then you're going back to the first shot, which is you just try and draw as close as you can.
Yeah, looks as though they're looking at something down the centre line here, playing into the head.
Of course, just a reminder for New Zealand viewers, in the international game, if the end is killed, that same end is replayed and a penalty number goes on. So if Shane was to kill it here, the Australian team was to kill it, New Zealand would start this end off again, but with a 4-point lead.
And does that differ from your New Zealand rules?
In
Oh, yes, yeah.
New Zealand,
You
yeah,
just take the penalty.
if you
and
kill it,
play
there's a
the
penalty
next
applied,
end.
but then you play the next end.
Okay.
And
So you
it's
can't-
only
The
3.
kitty, I've just had a
Yeah.
quick look. The kitty, you've got the yellow and blue touching at the front. The kitty is about an inch in front of the blue. So there's 4 blues currently, but nothing touching.
Here we go. Shane on the back end. He's close to what they pointed at.
Yeah,
what a bowl.
Great bowl.
Oh,
That's
great bowl.
reduced.
That's a fantastic shot there
That's
from the
as good as you
Sandman.
get, right?
Absolutely magnificent bowl under huge pressure. First time he's played it. Oh, I'd be happy with that. Great shot
great
there.
shot. Under pressure, first and
Oh, for sure.
second bowl for him.
And those reaching bowls can be tough to play on these mats because you're never sure where the break. Well, I haven't played on them, but it looks like you're never sure where the breaking point is. So you can play those reaching bowls, and I've seen people sort of sail past because they haven't turned. Where you take slightly less green and suddenly they're hooking across on you.
Yeah, we had our practice session here on Wednesday morning, just before the Kiwis, and yeah, definitely you get the line, the wide line, and it hangs out, or you get the skinny line, just cuts across. So, yeah, you really, really have to be switched on and focused.
Just wait for the crowd to calm down.
How good is the atmosphere at the moment?
They've had something in their coffee this morning. Not the same stuff I've had in my coffee, unfortunately, but such is life. As we see, we're going to see that breaking the back line there. God, I love that rule. I think we should be allowed to do it in our domestic game, Candice.
There is the odd mat that I can think of in our hall, especially that would be
It opens
ideal.
Opens up so many more angles. And he was still narrow, and he took as much ground as he could, so you can see that. As we see Errol on the forehand side. Did you just hit me?
I did, sorry.
Didn't mean to say that out loud. Don't worry, viewers. Errol on the forehand.
Maybe a gentle nudge.
It's not bad leading there. You know, it's sort of a scattered-ish hit. It looks like it means most of the bowls are going to be on the backhand for the next 2 or 3 bowls. We'll see Gary have a go. You can watch this one turn underneath the jack. Huge swing. Could be dangerous for the New Zealanders if we get caught on that. Right, here's another chance for Gary, and he'll more be looking to rest that blue, won't he, Eric, than the jack, because you've got to sort of, how else is he going to stop his bowl from turning across the head?
Yeah, I'd be more inclined to be looking behind the head at the moment, so...
Yeah, good shot there.
Beautiful.
That's a good shot from Gary. As we see the supporters there, Jenny Stockford on the far left, some people with pom-poms, others, and obviously they've gone crazy. That's good.
They need that warm blanket, don't they? It's absolutely freezing in here.
Yeah, they do. They do. It's okay if you're a player, I suppose. Although I haven't seen many of the Kiwis get out of their jackets. But for spectators, it's not been as warm as it could be. We have covered that a little bit on the commentary that I've been involved in.
Just a little bit.
You'd be used to that at home, though, wouldn't you?
No. I come from Auckland, and Auckland is nice and tropical.
Compared to this,
Not that I'm
it's
an Aucklander,
definitely
I'm from
tropical.
Tauranga, but you know, I live in Auckland.
Had a scan through the team. We don't actually have a bowling club in Mount Cook.
That's our
New
cold
Zealand.
mountain.
Okay.
Good shot there. No, we have no such thing as bad weather in New Zealand, as everyone listening would know. It's only ever sunshine.
And fog in the Waikato.
Yeah. Angus here on his forehand side. What's he doing? What do you think he's looking to do here?
Oh, look, I think he's got his 2 yellows as options there. He's coming under the head. If he misses those, he might get the jack clean and trail it back. So certainly something I'd be a little bit positive here. And
Nice forehand side. Right, let's see how much it comes back, because it's the hand that holds a little bit more. It was lovely weight, really, wasn't it? If he had got onto that, you can see that yellow bowl that sits at. Well, now it sits at sort of 5 o'clock on the screen. It's on its running surface, so if he had got that with that weight, it would have probably rolled onto the jack quite nicely.
It's on the roll in, yeah.
Pull right on his forehand as well. Be looking to take a tighter line than Angus did. At least we knock up one of the yellows. Here we go. He's watching this bowl as it comes back. Great shot there. Great bowl from Paul Wright. A nice head building here for the New Zealanders. So there's one yellow being a pain.
Depends what side of you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's fair.
Something we did talk about. We know that the New Zealanders will be coming out firing today, and in our team, that's something that we're aware of. But the team, I guess the team support or team, the want for the trophy is absolutely, amazing at
Up
the
there,
moment.
yeah.
So we expect New Zealand to come out firing today, but I know the Aussies are just on the ball here, and this is a big bowl for Angus.
On the big swing, so we know it's going to come back. The question is when. Half a bowl.
You're just looking for the yellow there, wasn't he, Ian?
He was half a bowl out.
Just half a bowl.
So depending on your perspective, he's either heavy or he was wide. Well, it's one or the other, isn't it? I'm in fine form this morning.
Alex, you're on fire.
So you see Paul Smith. Right, let's
Up and
watch this
over on the
bowl.
blue.
Needs it to hold up.
It's tight.
Oh,
He was looking for either blue there. To be fair, he was probably looking for the blue on the centre line rather than the blue across from it. So he was a little bit narrow there. What's Shane's shot? Well, from that angle, it almost looks like the forehand's an option, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You could use that yellow that sits at 5 o'clock
The
to
ball,
go in off it.
the blue bowl rolls through. Might kick the jack over in between there, but need another one in the heads.
Looking to wide in this situation for Shane, because if he's tight, he's only going to be promoting blue bowls.
a bit too wide maybe.
He wasn't narrow. He's disappointed with that bowl. Paul Smith just be looking for an up and over again. Doesn't look horrible. Good shot there. So here we have a situation where New Zealand's holding 3. Not a huge amount of position for the Australian team.
He's got 2 shots here. He's got
Oh.
just drawing that straight hand onto the shot bowl and
Yeah.
just move the kitty,
Well,
or he's got that outside yellow to bring in.
because I'm crazy, I'd hit the yellow that's on the corner of the square. The one that, just smack that.
I can confirm your status there, not the shot.
But
just
then
the
I'd get
status.
talked out of it. So we're going to see Shane on the backhand. He's given it half a chance. It's still holding.
Oh, big
Great bowl
effort
there from Shane. Already this game he's played 2 really hard to play bowls and played them well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been under pressure both ends and cutting them down. That's what you need to do when you're down, don't have a lot of options in the head. So he'll be looking for Errol and Hayden here to fire up and get in a position where they can attack a bit more.
So in your domestic game, where does Shane usually play position-wise?
At a recent national, Shane skipped the triples. He's recently moved up to Queensland, originally from Victoria, actually. So, certainly with the international in mind, he's been playing skip. But previously, he's been an absolutely fantastic lead, and we know at the last Test series, he played sort of the middle pin in the side. So.
Great opener there by Sean Blackburn.
Yeah, good start as Errol on the probe.
Reply.
Great shot.
Oh,
Great
wow.
shot. That's something we've talked about all week, as being really positive and attacking, from the first bowl. So, as we know, anything jack high at this level is not a great bowl. So
is there a when you guys are preparing to play the New Zealand team, is there a perception? Oh, what a great shot there from
Great
Sean
shot.
Blackburn. Is there a perception?
really, our team's really focused on this week, and we've tried to try and play that style of game to match it and put New Zealand on the back foot. And I guess that's when you get caught out, right, when you're not aggressive and you don't have bowls in the head. So that's really, really been a focus for our team.
Okay, we've got the first score update of the morning.
Oh, fantastic.
Thanks to Mr. Sargent. Just the 2 singles games. The rest of them are like this. They've only played 1 or 2 ends, but we'll give the singles update. So in the men's singles, Australia 2, New Zealand 2 after 4. There's no surprise here. Those two, Ian Ogilvy and Daniel French, have been basically doing a title fight bout for 2 days. I think they probably might end it in the car park tonight. It's been so tight right through, so that's 2-2. And the ladies singles, a little bit of a surprise here. We'll want to keep an eye on this one. Australia 10, New Zealand 3. Hey? Oh, well, thank goodness for that.
Thank goodness. That is so great.
Sarge.
I tell you what, Sarge, you gave me a heart attack. We're looking at Terry Blackbourne's game there, and he's got Australia 10, New Zealand 3. I'm going, is this a misprint? Well, it was. Good try, Sarge. So it's Australia 3, New Zealand 10. All systems have resumed.
That's great news.
So, thanks for that, Sarge. Bit of a relief. I don't think New Zealand really would have been banking or didn't want to see that score, given that they are one game behind at the moment.
So we just see here an interesting shot called for Hayden on the forehand on that big swinging side. He must be looking to rest the bowler jack. It'd be very easy to be narrow. He's going to have to play this well.
Looking well.
He's played it brilliantly.
Shot.
What a shot there! And the ball went off.
The ball went off the end too.
Bugger. Not a good shot.
It's a great shot from Hayden.
It was a 2-for-1. He got the kitty back and he put the back blue off.
I can't explain how difficult that'd be to play, because he would have been thinking it's a massive swinging hand.
Yeah.
So I have to play enough weight for my bowl to hold up. Great shot there from Hayden, as we see Paul Wright on his backhand here, looking to draw one close to the New Zealand captain. Good shot. Good shot. He's come here to play this morning. Right. So did you suggest that Angus was an aggressive... Does he look for those aggressive cannons and sort of hitting stuff more often than not?
Yeah, he's definitely developed the nickname, and I think I've made that through myself, to be honest. But yeah, the Angry Angus. Look, I think that's why he's been picked as the middle pin. He's obviously a great draw bowler, but he can play those big shots. And
so, like in this head here, you would expect him to be, there's 1 blue, 2 yellow, second and third shot. Does he look for a way to get rid of that as a player? Or will he be developing the head and then looking to get rid of it later on?
I think we'd be looking to develop at this stage, especially so early on in the game as well. They'll be looking to keep it close and pull out those big bowls towards the end of the game, I would be thinking.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know we mentioned it yesterday in commentary. Angus has played for Australia in curling.
Yes.
Competed in curling, and I play a bit of indoor bowls with New Zealand curler who's played against Angus, so they know each other.
Right.
And often the curling game's quite an aggressive one because the angles are so clean.
Yes.
You see lots of cannons and lots of multiple takeouts in that sport, and I wonder if that sort of informed how he plays his indoor bowls.
Yeah, and I guess it makes him such a dangerous player. I know in practice, I had a few games against Angus in some of our team practices, and he absolutely nailed some of his...
Goes bang.
His Angry Angus's.
Oh, what a shot there from Paul Wright. Going to be an interesting decision here, because there is an option that the orange that sits along the tee line, if you're able to play through that, so the one at 12 o'clock, the 2 blues go. If he's wide, he kills it. What do you do?
Well, yeah, my thoughts are early on you keep it close, so you don't, that's the idea. A lot of ends to play.
He could look to make it easier for Shane, I suppose. I think that's what Shane was indicating there. Like, if he goes up and over on that orange that sits at 12 o'clock on the screen, the shot becomes safer for Shane to play with his 2 bowls. You're sort of just moving all the yellows slightly closer up.
Yeah.
And what you'll find, Eric, is yes, they are yellow. Our friend Alex is colourblind, and he is convinced they are orange.
If I call them orange again.
It's a tricky one for us at our nationals. We recently had orange and blue, so I'll accept orange or yellow today.
I'll take the... that's nice to hear. As we see Angus, not entirely sure if he was looking to draw around or if he was just sort of missed his bowl there to try and promote the yellow bowls into the head.
I was having a bit of a look at Sam Min's call, and I think he was looking to play on that front blue there, blue to the yellow, and then
just
roll
2 or
that
3
in.
rolls
So
sort of thing.
fraction wide, but
Got Paul Smith here. After those 2 brilliant bowls there, you can see from Paul Wright, fantastic shots. And Paul Smith, you'll see the bowl coming to the head shortly. There it is. Watch this one come back. Is it going to stop?
ooh,
Nearly. Rightio, Shane, what have you got for us? Shane on the forehand side. Close here. Great bowl, great bowl. That's a great shot.
great shot.
That would have killed on our domestic mat, but that's okay. We're not playing international. Well, we're not, not playing there. It almost came back. Great shot. You can really see what it means to these players and the level of focus they're applying. For those that aren't aware, an international test match, you select teams to play against each other. They play against each other 3 times, and the winner of that set is awarded an international medal, which is a cool little badge thing. It's like an international Trans-Tasman title, if you will. And the reason we are streaming this game is because it's for the Trans-Tasman title, the winning men's fours team. So they're playing not only for their country and for the Henselite Trophy, but also the winner of this game will get awarded a Trans-Tasman medal.
And you talk about how much this event means to the players. Just in our team debrief yesterday, I can let you know there was a few tears. So it certainly means a lot to the players and the team. As the Australian team's a very, very close unit, and I'm sure New Zealand is as
we're
well.
The same, yep.
We've got a really nice mixture of both, young players and some of the older heads. So it's been a great experience for me as a reserve player, and as we see Shane take the shot here by the looks of it.
Cool. So 1-2 Australia there. We see them score their first point of this game. Big scoring game. It's now 1-2 after 3 ends. Errol delivering the jack and looking like he's going to lead off on the swing, which is interesting. Sort of conventional wisdom. You don't usually do that as a lead, but if it works, it works. Fair enough. Might find that it is more consistent, perhaps because he knows it's going to turn back.
Yeah. Errol was coming off a good week at our national championships last week. He won the silver medal in the men's singles. So, so consistent Errol is, and
absolutely,
you can't underestimate his abilities.
So when you talk about your nationals, so like in New Zealand, it's a great shot there from Sean Blackburn. Our national championships are an open national championship, so we run an open singles, pairs, triples and fours, and anyone from any centre anywhere can enter them, and we play off until you find a winner, section play and post section. So we get a few hundred entries in the singles, for example, and you find a winner of that, a few hundred entries in the pairs.
Wow.
Your national championships are selected, aren't they? It's a different sort of... Can you explain what your nationals mean for Australia?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, our state side is selected prior to the national championships. So generally we'll hold our state events, and those individuals who do well at a state level will normally play that event at the national championships. But we have 2 representatives from each state play an event. So for the men's singles we'll have 2 players.
Yeah.
And we'll play 9 games. So
it's like a round robin, is it? You play everyone?
Yeah, that's correct. And at the end of the day, whoever has the most wins, obviously, and percentage takes out the medals. So we have gold, silver, and bronze. And Errol played very, very well last week and took home the silver with no surprise Ian Ogilvie taking out the gold.
No, he's not bad at bowls, eh?
So.
No, it's just always interesting to see how different countries run different events. And obviously, in the halcyon days of indoor bowls in New Zealand, we had 3,000 entries in our national singles.
Wow.
We don't quite get that number now, but it's still a very competitive event, and it's a pretty cool week to play in. As we see, good bowl there from Gary, just promoting that blue into the head, and Hayden getting down on his forehand side. Not far away. Lovely bowl.
Yeah, good bowl there.
Everyone's just up for this game, eh? They're all, we've seen some top-notch bowls from all 8 players, which is what you'd expect at a Trans-Tasman, but everyone's there to play.
I think you're adding that element of that pressure in there today. It's a whole new game when you add what's on the line today. So, it's about keeping it close and taking those opportunities later in the game, and that's why fraction wide from Gary.
How is that for a commentator's curse?
It's not your first time, Alan.
Just slightly overplayed that one, Gary, but a good first bowl. New Zealand holding the shot here, and we're up to so there's you can't see it, but there's a bowl of each colour off the mat, so it is the threes turn to play. Angus on his forehand, very efficient delivery. Do you have many? We're just gonna. It's really interesting that we've seen a few bowls
Holding out that hand, isn't it?
Yeah, it's holding, I think, and I think probably a swinging hand requires more weight. And perhaps those players have played the swinging hand a few times, and it's just easy to slightly overplay it.
Is this where in a game you start thinking as a skip you start changing hands? It seems that they're losing a few bowls down that side. So
happy days there for Paul. He snuck through that gap. Well, what I was going to ask, Eric, is you'll have noticed, and it's because our mats are so thin and fast.
Yep.
Most New Zealanders, all the New Zealanders, we sort of push the ball along the mat.
Yes.
Is our delivery, and the Aussies, for the New Zealand viewers, you'll see that most of them stand up, barring Hayden here, who's kneeling down. Do you have many ones who sort of push the ball along the carpet? Is that something that happens?
Look, I guess when you jump on the 30-foot mats, just thinking back to our recent national championships, not a great deal. A lot of our players are from the standing delivery.
Great shot, good ball there from Angus, but unlucky.
I think from when you jump on the 30-foot mats, it's you do need to be able to play those weighted deliveries, and as we see, I guess a lot of the New Zealand players, they do stand up when they need to play those more aggressive shots. So we don't really tend to see a lot of people have the kneeling position and then move to that standing position to play the aggressive shots. It's normally one or the other.
Yeah, so like when you guys are practicing on these international mats, do you have to change your delivery much, or do you pretty much stick with the same that what you use back at home?
Yeah, look, it's much the same of what we use. Obviously, coming off the practice, I practiced with the Australian team this week. The angles do change quite a bit. So I guess, really switched on changing your angles, but in terms of a delivery stance, no.
Close here from Paul Wright. Great shot there. Yeah, I know the New Zealanders, most of the men have kept the same delivery, but some of the women change. Like Terry's got a wider stance when she plays international, and in the past we've had people switch to a crouch or a standing position for international bowls when they play that. Because our mats are so thin and so fast, we often have quite compact deliveries. It's easy to be short all the time, and that's obviously not something that you want to be doing. So sometimes the New Zealand players do change a little bit of their setup. Right, what's happening here? Is Shane just on his forehand side? He's indicating that yellow, looking just to sit that down.
Yeah.
So he lines himself up. Right, it's on its way. See how much it breaks at the end, that's the question.
I think.
That wide.
Yeah, gave himself every chance. Like, it was a nice chance, wasn't it, that he gave that bowl?
Paul's looking at plugging that gap.
Yeah, fair enough.
Indicating.
You can play quite a positive bowl if you wanted to on his backhand, because if there's anything to hit there, it's going to be good stuff. You see the two oranges that are touching each other along the centre line. If he's on his backhand and he's narrow and he gets that, a blue's coming into the head. If he's wide, another blue's coming into the head, and it's all to try and stop the orange bowl that Shane was going to play sitting down. The other option is if he thinks it's on, you can just draw around it on the backhand. It's a big enough swing.
Yeah.
It's just if you can take enough green. Well, no, soon enough. I like the shot selection. The question is, how much is it going to hold? He's close.
Oh,
Great
yes.
shot there from Paul Smith.
Great shot.
Brilliant bowl.
I dare say, is that blue-yellow lined up, Alex?
It looks like it might be, and that's a bit frightening. So you can see it on your screen at 6 o'clock. They'll look at that first, see if they give that a belt, how well it fits into that staggered split. And these players are good enough. You can't really see it on the camera angles, but they're good enough. They'll know if the angle's there or not. And if it's there, they'll play it, and if it's not, they'll find something else to do.
So the swing hand is going to be an awfully difficult.
Very hard shot to play.
From this angle, it's looking pretty good though. So
It's
I
pretty
expect
unlucky from
we'll
Paul
see
Smith
Shane,
to play a
yeah.
good bowl, but set one up in the
Here we
process.
go. Slightly wider start, so I think he's going to be playing with a bit of weight here. Here we go. Up it comes. He's underneath it. It went quite well. It didn't go badly.
Still,
I think 2 there for New Zealand as it sits. A fair effort. It's hard to tell. I mean, they may have decided to try pick that gap, because that was the other shot. If your plant's not going for the split, you can just try get there with your collision bowl.
yeah.
Gave it a fair effort there to Shane. I'd almost be frightened to play this bowl on the swinging hand, because
if he's only one shot, he could play the straight hand and just sit the yellow down, which would sit the blue down, which would bring 2 into it.
that's
Easy.
good call.
If he's already holding 2, I don't think he'll do much.
How's his wobble?
Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask Claire Smith about that.
Okay, fair enough. He's opted for a forehand shot. Doing something, we'll find out
Yeah,
soon enough.
maybe he's looking at sitting that blue down or drawing underneath in front. He's not doing
Yeah,
much
just a
at all.
nothing bowl. That's fair enough. So we see 2 there to the New
Must be
Zealand
happy
side.
with 2, I'd say.
Take a lead. Now it'll be interesting to see how the game progresses,
Yep,
because
2 it is.
the Australian team came back so well yesterday after New Zealand had what you could term a comfortable lead. They were well clear. The psychology for that is interesting, because the Australian team, doesn't matter how far down they get, you're still going to go, well, we know we've done it before, we can come back again, even though they didn't win yesterday.
Exactly.
And I think New Zealand will be aware that happened as well. So even if the score does blow out, which I'm not suggesting it will, because we're only 4-1, I think this game's going to go right to the death.
Well, that's it. There's 18 ends, and as I said, when you've got such aggressive and capable players, it only takes one end to change the game. So
Absolutely.
it's all about keeping it close and getting that 14, 15 end mark and starting to play your big shots. So
Have you got a score update for
I
us,
do have
Dave?
a score update.
Brilliant.
Men's singles, Australia 7, New Zealand 3 after 7 ends. Ladies singles, New Zealand 15, Australia 3 after 10. Ladies fours, Australia 2, New Zealand 4 after 4. And the mixed fours, Australia 4, New Zealand 3 after 3. So singles at the moment going with how they've gone all week, with the men's singles Ian Ogilvie in front, the ladies singles Terry Blackburn in front. So that looks like that, unless there's changes there, that could be all square.
Yeah, Terry.
Ladies fours, Australia have won both of those. So if the New Zealand ladies could turn that around, that would be a big swing. And the mixed fours, well, that's a medal game, and it's all pretty much to play for there at 4-3. Thank you, Sarge.
If New Zealand, we trail by 1 game going into today, and there's 11 games played in a day, aren't there? And if the test match is drawn, the holding country, what a shot there from Gary Lowe. If the test match is drawn, the country that won it the last year retains the trophy. So New Zealand's equation is 3 wins in the morning and 3 wins in the afternoon to retain the Hensel Light Trophy, isn't it? That'd be good.
it's such a big morning, isn't it? I guess whoever comes out of the morning session on top really puts some pressure
What
on the
a
afternoon.
bowl!
Great bowl.
Did anyone else
Back
just
toucher.
see that?
Yes, Alex, we're watching the screen.
Holy shit.
Wow.
That is incredible. Gary played a front nut, and you're like, oh yeah, this should hang around. You'd think to yourself, and Hayden, nah, no worries, drew around it for a back toucher.
That's not far away.
Gary
either.
with a good response
Gary
here.
back. Good effort
Oh.
Yeah,
there.
that's good home.
That's fantastic stuff.
So if you're just joining us, this is the medal game for the men's fours. So they're one game each, and this is the decider. And then this afternoon's scheduled game will be the ladies' pairs, which will also be a medal game decider. So stick with us. This afternoon we will be looking at staying on until the end of the test match. So we won't cut you off at the end of the ladies' pairs if there's still a deciding game left. We'll reposition or make sure we cover that to keep those at home who are on the edge of their seats like we are. So yeah, we'll play that one as it is, but at the moment we've got the medal game here for the men's fours, and it's 18 ends. So strap yourself in. It's Saturday morning. Make yourself a cup of coffee, put it on the big screen, and stay tuned here on Matt's side, and let's hope we've got a couple of good games. Thank you, Alex.
Oh, you're welcome. I was just reading the book. Don't mind
The
me.
program.
Yeah, the program. That's
Yep.
the one. And just while we're waiting for the Angus to play his bowl, Australia hasn't won the Test series since 2011. It was a drawn Balclutha, and you would have held on to it because you won at Broken Hill in Australia. But there've been some close games. You know, in 2013 and 15, New Zealand was, it's fair to say, dominant. It was 55 points to 11 and 50 points to 16. And then my understanding is that you guys had I know last time round you had Glenn Sargent come on board as like a motivational team person, and you spoke about getting some sort of oomph back in the Australian side, and you've been really hard to beat for the last 5 or 6 years. It's been a tough series for New Zealand.
And that's it. I mean, we've got Sarge as, one of the team managers in Australia. He's obviously done it all, and he's well respected, and that means a lot to the players. And every time he speaks, I guess this week, or he's spoken, it's really pumped the Australian team up. So lucky to have him.
He's not even standing nearby to hear you say that.
He is a selector, so
Oh, fair enough. I actually don't know who the New Zealand selectors are, so I can't sort of. Doesn't matter. Right, Angus on the back end. Here's a big bowl here in the context of this end. That's a great shot.
Great bowl.
Sitting sort of holding 2.5 there, the Australian team. And a reasonable here. It's probably one of the better ends they've put together so far, I would say.
This is what they need to do. They need to make sure they've got bowls in the head, and that's why I'd be cautious on the next end coming down back on that forehand. It seems to be causing him a little bit of trouble back down the other end. So if I was Shane, I'd certainly be trying to flip that over going back the other way, because they need the bowls in the head.
So Paul and Paul just discussing the next shot. So it's the skips bowl. You've got 2 bowls left of blue. They're pointing at the forehand side. Must be to try and improve the position. So like that blue, if you're wide, you rest that yellow bowl out that sits at 9 o'clock on your screen. And then with his next bowl, he can play a good shot on his back end. Giving himself half a chance if it does something. Yeah, we'll call that. Good shot. Nicely played bowl there, and as you talk about keeping the heads nice and tight and not doing anything silly, that's a good example of that sort of shot selection. Yeah, he's given himself a good chance with his last bowl now.
Yeah, definitely changed it up now. And
Probably one
those
yellow
blues.
at the moment.
Yeah, looking dangerous on the side there. Not sure that black blue's just behind Jack High, but there's probably a chance there to pop it out sideways for a couple. So.
So Shane and Angus just talking about their next shot. So they've got last bowl of this end, so they have the final opportunity to make a difference. So the decision making is just how do we make either New Zealand's shot as difficult as possible or go as badly as possible. It looks like they're drawing that group of blues so that if Paul does play a good shot, they're only going to be one down. On his forehand side is Shane. This one will come back into the head. No worries.
Yeah, that's
what
a
a
great
shot there. He's playing some lovely bowls this game. So how long has it been known as the Sandman?
I actually found out this week during practice, so I tried to get down to the bottom of how that nickname stuck, but
Haven't got there yet?
I've got a couple of theories, but Sandman hasn't confirmed them yet, to be honest. So
Okay, we'll leave that one there for the moment.
yeah, it does play a lot of outdoor bowls, so we do believe it's originated in outdoor. Yeah, I guess we'll find out, hopefully. When I do find out, I'll let you know.
I'll go ask him just before a pressure bowl. See if we can make make a difference. As the two balls talk about the shot to play here. It's a hard one, really, because there's lots of yellows, not that many blues. So to play with weight is real dangerous. I think we're probably going to see a similar ball to what Shane played. You know, it's a huge swing. You get a chunk off the blue that sits on the corner of the square at 9 o'clock. Back into that split. Be a very good shot. If you narrow, it's not so good. So let's just cross our fingers. Need it to hold. Okay, then leave it alone. You'll be disappointed with that one.
Yeah, that's one of the ones where you've got to be positive. You're down a couple, need to change it up. So I would even be playing sort of a fraction more positive than what you were calling. You probably got the box seat there with that blue at the back there. So
is he going to play front blue onto yellow, do the jam and try and squeeze that blue out of there? Is that an option?
It might be. It'll be easier to see for them because the jack's definitely moving. But it depends how far it's... Okay.
No, not playing the shot.
I wanted to see the shot, but Australia's taken the 3 points. That's fair enough. So we see this game squared up now at 4 points apiece after 5 ends. 13 ends to go. And a long jack thrown by Errol. Leading off on his backhand. I think Fluffy said these are new Australian uniforms. Is that right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've gone with a bit of a brighter colour and trying to differentiate ourselves against the matte bucks. So that sort of dark green and the black.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, quite comfortable to wear. I'm wearing one now, and yeah, nice
That's
and
good.
warm anyway.
Yeah. New Zealand uniform's easy. We just go for black. Nice and simple. Don't need to get complicated. Do you have a nickname for your Australian side? Because I know the New Zealand team, we were the New Zealand Indoor Bowls team for 25 years, and then we did a poll and decided we'd become the Matte Blacks. Do you guys and your outdoor teams, the Jackaroos, do you have a nickname? And if you don't have a nickname, what do you reckon one would be for your Australian side?
That's a tough question. Firstly, we don't have a nickname, to be honest, but yeah, maybe it's something I can take away from this conversation, and the next test series I might be able to shed a bit more light on that. So
I look forward to it. I think it'd be good. I think it'd be cool just to find a nickname of some sort.
Just back on your uniform, I do like the beanies that you have. That's something I think we need to get going. A green and gold beanie would be nice.
Yep.
So
great shot there from Sean Blackburn. Great bowl. How's
Great
that for leading? Yeah, we didn't think we'd need the beanies in Australia, to be fair. But that's okay. It's we'll see where we check you guys in the next test series. You might need some in return. Wonder if we could find what's the coldest place in New Zealand.
I think Hayden might need a beanie with.
I wasn't going to say it.
He might might be a bit cold there.
See Gary Lowe on the forehand. He's got 2 lovely blue bowls there. So this is the thing. If he gets past it, both of these fours teams are capable at any moment of putting 8 bowls within 8 inches of where they want to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. At any point, either of these teams could suddenly sit with a 4 or 5 on the head.
That's right.
And then it's whether it can be salvaged by the opposition. So that's where we'll see the numbers. It'll come from just a build-up. Good shot there.
Good shot there by Hayden.
Someone did something good.
See the crowd is lively. A few people standing up and cheering.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely fantastic atmosphere. I think this is the only event that we have certainly where this is the atmosphere that that you find, and that is because it's international competition and you don't get, it's as good as it gets, isn't it? So we have a lively New Zealand supporters contingent. The loudest ones are from Southland, and they sort of all sit next to each other, and every time someone Aussies, the Kiwis bounce it back.
That's it. Yeah, I've been up there the past 2 days quite loud, so I hope someone in the Aussie team is doing the same.
Angus, great shot. Lovely bowl there. You see, it's just turned around, and that's what we were saying about how good these players are. Sean started off essentially with 2 touches. Gary played 2 OK bowls, but the Australians have got in there, and it's not looking that good for Blue at the moment. New Zealand captain, Paul Wright. Half a chance here. Good bowl. So your captain is Julie.
Yes, yep.
How much does the captain have to do with the team and your preparation and stuff?
Oh, look, obviously the captain of any team, it's a really important role to bring inspiration to the team. And, I guess after Thursday's afternoon session where we were quite disappointed in the way that we played, I think that those tough conversations are really important to get back on track and come back as Australia did yesterday. But something I've noticed in the unit that we have is that we have so many important figures that, there's just that little bit less pressure on the captain. But look, nonetheless, it is a really tight unit, and I think that it goes to show after yesterday's performance, especially,
Oh, fantastic from Australia.
Early in the session, we, 4 games that weren't looking great for Australia, and to come back and win 3 of those, that was a really big fight.
Yeah, that's the key point for me when I had to do a little write-up about it, and looking at those 3 games that Australia just got up and was able to win, and it's like a momentum, and you can feel it in the hall as well. And you will have, domestic viewers will know when play like our Inter-Centre and Welsh trophies and stuff, or Ireland Test matches, it's the same thing. Once one team wins under huge pressure, the other team goes, I'm close as well, and they've just won, and I've got the crowd behind me, and they get up and play, and we just saw that sort of momentum in that last session from Australia. Those 3 wins at the death. That's
right, and it's those close ones on the last end that you need to win. I mean, if the results go the other way, it's New Zealand here on the front foot this morning, and Australia are chasing, 3 or 4 wins. So
yeah.
How much do you think the home crowd is an advantage? Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't been over to New Zealand to see the crowd, but I certainly feel like the Aussies here at the moment have, going back to that afternoon session yesterday, really probably got some of our players across the line. Yeah,
I agree. I think that's an interesting question. I think it certainly helps, and I think also the players. I think you're always more comfortable in your home country. The Kiwis. I know you guys have had to travel as well.
Playing with weight.
Shame, a bit unlucky there. It's bowl wide. The Kiwis have had to travel, get themselves sorted out in like a foreign place, and we've got a good group of supporters. But for sure, I think having it at home is a bit of an advantage. There's all the positives that you can draw on there as a team. So a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Seems like a good excuse anyway. This will be interesting. Opting to play the backhand by the hand gestures. New Zealand holding the shot. And it's sort of, I don't know, foot up from the spot. I see Paul Smith on his backhand.
Looking positive to roll the yellows out, maybe?
Yeah, let it go lovely as we see the swing back in.
Yeah.
Good ball there from Paul.
Great ball.
And it sat down.
So we see a nice grouping of New Zealand bowls. Great. Good camera angle there, Dave. Thank you. So we see New Zealand's probably holding, what do you reckon, 2 there? 1.5? Not sure what Shane's going to do. Angus just...
I don't think he's going to leave it. I think he's going to hit it. Because Paul's got an up and over on the blue for 4 shots.
Angus
he's
just
not going to leave that, right?
Angus just pointed at smacking the bejesus out of the front blue, that one.
Yeah. Which Fluffy would say would get you a red card in
Australia. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't think I won't come and play your game.
Sandman's going to worry about that today.
So we see Shane.
Here he comes.
On the forehand. Even if he's wide with that weight, something cool could happen. Here we go. He's let it go. He's close.
Okay. Well,
Well, that happened because it was a staggered plant, not 2 bowls touching. So he hit the target area, but was slightly on the tight side, and it just changed the angles. And an opportunity here for New Zealand. We better be holding the shot.
Well, they're holding at least one, but up and over on the blue or tight on the blue pops the yellow out, right?
Sure.
So unless they're holding more than 2, I'm pretty sure Paul will play.
Oh, that's cool. They're asking Sean onto the head. Now, Sean is in the unusual position of he leads the men's fours team and he's skipping our mixed 6-bowl peers with Joy Archer, with whom he has won a number of peers titles. I'm not sure how many other players would have played lead in a 4.
No, they're taking it. So
and then
he
skipped
must like
skipped a pair.
I'd say there's not much risk in that, so I think they're holding 2
They
or
must
3.
be holding 2 or 3. So we see Angus remove bowls that aren't in the count. Just have a nose. We just call an umpire. Give him something to do.
You can see Les in the background. He looks like he's warming up.
Ready to go. Rightio.
It's a fair request.
Yeah. That'll do.
Can I cheer on Mum for 5 minutes? You go for it, Candice. You've come all the way to Australia.
Angus just looking at it as if something's going to change. I read the rules last night because I wanted to go to sleep.
Well, we were all a bit bemused about who was taking shots out, and every man and his dog were just pulling
I've
shots
confirmed in the international law book it is as per our New Zealand domestic rules, where the team with the last bowl, it is beholden on them to measure.
Yes.
So if your team has the
We
last
haven't
bowl, you
seen
have to
that,
measure.
though, have we?
No, but it's in the rules, Dave.
We've been quite confused. We've seen people take their own shots out, and then
It's in the rules.
others who had the last bowl and basically saying if you want it, measure it.
And
it's like,
in the rules, there's also no mention of using whites or torches during an end, which is why there was a conversation in Invercargill last time there was a test match run, because in New Zealand we can use a torch at any point during the end to see if a bowl's touching the jack or not, and in Australia it's on the last bowl of the skip. And there was a discussion in Invercargill about what the decision would be for the international game, because it's not mentioned in the rules, and it was decided that it should mirror the Australian ones, so you can check to see if a bowl's touching with a torch if it's the last bowl of either player in the international game as well.
Right.
this is awkward. He's got the overhead overhead shot happening here.
Speaking of getting the umpire involved.
I wouldn't be an umpire, you couldn't pay me to do it.
No. Steady hand at this level.
He's got a steady
Not
hand.
sure what he's measuring both blues.
It's been around for, who's this guy? Eric. I had a chat to him.
Yeah, Les from Victoria, so I couldn't give you much insight into how long he's been around for, but...
His name's Les, and he's from Victoria.
It's a little bit like
great.
that, I guess, with our other states.
He's given it to yellow
especially
over
after
both of his
COVID.
blues.
Absolutely. I know he was
two
talking...
shots.
Yeah, Les was having a good old chinwag to David Edgar, who has been a New Zealand team manager in the past, so I presume he has been involved with internationals over a long period of time. He knew Ron Ingalls, who last played for New Zealand in the mid-90s, so I think we'll say his name's Les. He's from Victoria, he's been around for a while. And move on. As we see Sean here on his backhand. Last 2 bowls have been touches. Is it going to be 3 in a row? As we see this bowl come back into the head. I reckon I'm going to claim that as a toucher. It's not a resting toucher, but surely it scared the jack on the way past. Really interesting that Errol has opted to stick to the... He's going up and down on the swinging hand. He goes forehand then backhand on that swinging side of the mat. There must be a conversation they've had or a decision he's made.
Yeah, yep.
Shawnee on his backhand here.
Probably first loose bowl from him. He's been right on it.
Oh, Errol's played some great bowls this game. Sean likes this bowl.
I think he thinks he might be a bit big.
Oh.
Still there.
Well, he did the handshake, and I thought that means he likes it. But maybe he was saying, slow down.
Well, you take two in the square all day, don't you?
Yeah, for sure, as a lead.
On a long end.
They're going to move so much. Terry's up to 19 points in the ladies singles now. Dave?
Good.
That's a good correction there from Errol.
That's more
Great
like
shot
Errol.
there. So is this your first experience of an international test match?
First experience, I guess, as part of the squad.
Yep.
Even though I'm, the reserve, I've certainly been a part of the team and all the team meetings. I did visit the 2017 test at Mounties in Sydney. So look, I do have an idea of what it's about, but this time has been, that bit more insightful, being a part of the team and seeing what goes on behind the scenes. So.
And your background in the sport, when did you start playing indoor bowls? Or indoor bias bowls, as you guys refer to it as.
I started when I was about 13 and played my first state events when I was 16 as from New South Wales, and was lucky enough to head to the Australian Championships in 2010 that year as a junior. So
Bowl, Gary.
Great bowl. But ever since then I've been playing and through the junior ranks and now in the seniors and love the sport just as much as when I started. So.
Oh, very good. That's what we like to hear. Oh, Hayden's just gone off the side of the mat. And you guys run trials for your Australian team. Is that how it works?
Yes, yeah. So we had our trials here in Ballarat actually back in May.
Okay.
An intensive 3 days. Some quality.
Great shot there from Paul Wright.
Great shot. So we normally pick a squad from the Australian Championships of 12 men, 12 women, and then we have our playoffs over 3 days and narrow that down to the 7 players.
Yeah.
Obviously, with COVID impacting us last year, the squad was picked from the 2019 championships, and Ballarat in May, and certainly some high quality bowls. Oh,
fair enough. And Angus on his forehand here. Great shot. Turning that head around again, 10 seconds ago it was looking pretty good for blue. So we see Paul Wright going to be playing his forehand. It swings enough, I reckon he can move, just about tickle the jack around the corner.
Yep.
Now, Paul's unusual in that he looks up when he plays a bowl. Where do you look when you play a bowl, Eric?
I like to get my head down over the bowl. I think that's obviously really
good
important.
green.
Oh, come on, Paulie.
Good
Get
green.
down. Great shot.
What a bowl. What a terrific bowl.
I turned from a commentator into a spectator then.
Great
That's
bowl.
more than tickling the jack around the corner, isn't it? Fantastic.
Great shot. What about you, Alex? Do you play some bowls yourself, or you?
Yeah,
more from the sidelines?
I try to play bowls. Sometimes they go where I tell them to go. Other times they don't. I've been playing, for a long time. Since I was 8 or 9, I was taken along to a club night by my mother, who plays indoor bowls, and inherited about 50 grandparents. And sort of have played the sport since then. So I'm lucky enough to have some success, which is good, and means I can just talk rubbish from the commentary box.
Yeah, good reply there
Great
from
shot.
Angus.
What an end this has been. So we see, what's the situation? Do you reckon Aussie's holding or one down there, Eric?
I'd say we're one down. I'd probably a bit concerned about the way the head is, though. Not a lot behind, not a lot for Shane to work with here. So, be interesting to see Paul's first bowl here.
Even if Paul just rocks that yellow, so not sitting up, but just rocking it, you're popping the jack back that little bit to be sitting with a couple of blue. Or around. Okay, it's probably a better call, Paul. Clean run. Be a bit disappointed with that shot, but still holding one.
Be interested to see if that jack's lined up to pop through that gap there.
Yeah.
The other yellow.
Got a really good view of the head.
There we go. Got
There
something.
we go. Thank you, Candice. Shane, just having a nosy. You've got last bowl. Australia's got last bowl. Remember the score is 6-4 to New Zealand after 6 ends of 18. Shane looking to not do too much with this bowl. That's fine.
Thinking with that amount of weight that he's playing, he might be looking for the split of the two yellows there and popping the jack back into that blue bowl.
Yeah.
Maybe going sideways.
It's a hard shot here for Paul. New Zealand's holding one. There's nothing on the forehand that's going to be great. You know, you got the blue bowl that sits at 12 o'clock. If that cannons onto the shot, the jack's going to move out. That's going to be ugly for us. You could just about, I mean, it's possibly an option on the big swing to try and, you know, draw back up the mat like we saw Paul Wright do. If you clear that front yellow, you could just about draw a second shot on the forehand side, or he could look to play the backhand and rock the yellow, or you're trying to block what Shane does. They're all sort of, it's a mix of shots open to him, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what I would choose to do. Yeah, you see Paul just indicated me that the forehand's an option. I think I'd be almost tempted to do it only because I'd just seen Paul Wright. You know, the shot bowl there literally drew out the yellow that you see at 9 o'clock on your screen. So if one's got there, surely another one can get in that general area.
Yeah, that's right.
Here we go. Paul Smith on his forehand. How's his weight? He's got the green. Okay, now he wants it to swing across and put a block in. No, he got the green right.
We didn't call that one. We didn't call the blocker, did we?
No, I didn't think about the block. Wasn't a good block anyway. So, we'll make a decision here. What do you think he's going to do?
I think he's into that front yellow there, looking for a good result to pop it out the side.
Should be going at a sharp angle for Jack once he gets some movement happening. If he clears the front, he's close to a result here. Good shot. That was a well-played bowl from Shane.
One blue.
Jack was always going really square into something, so he was unlikely to drop more than a 1 or a 2, so it was a well-played bowl.
Yeah.
Just didn't fall from the right way on that situation.
I must say, it is hard to call those shots from the commentary box, you know, when you're not on the mat and you can't see the angles, so...
Yeah, it's much easier. Yeah. That's what we'll say anyway.
Yeah.
It's much easier to see how things are lined up when you're over the top of a head.
That's right.
Have you got some updates for us, Candice?
All right, it looks like I'm going to do the updates right now. So we've got the men's singles. New Zealand are leading 11-9, played 13. That's a big turnaround from the last time we had results. Ladies singles, Terry is leading 25-7 after 19 ends.
That's us. So ladies fours now.
Ladies fours is New Zealand 9, Australia 4 after 7 ends. And mixed fours is New Zealand 7, Australia 6 after 8 ends.
So stressful times all round, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
While you're reading that out, we've had this is a fantastic end of leading here from both Errol and Sean. We'll see if you can follow up with the second one, but that's pretty much perfect leading there.
Sean's just moved past the commentary box and heard the
As we see,
heard the comment.
Errol on the forehand. Now it's how much it swings. It's a lazy, it still takes a bit of green, but it's a lazy hand on that side, isn't it? Gary on the forehand side, be looking to sit down off Sean's back bolt. Came out nice and smooth. That's always a good start. As we see the bowl come back into the head.
Yeah, great shot.
Great shot there from Gary Lowe. Beautiful bowl. Kylie Gould still in fine voice on day 3 of this test match.
I'm quite shocked she's still got the voice after yesterday. She was.
I'm very impressed. I don't have that, man. I don't have that level of energy. See Hayden. Yeah, good enough shot there.
Big effort.
Paul just indicating to stay on that forehand side. You know, even up and over once on that blues, not the end of the world. Just giving yourself a chance in 3 or 4 bowls to remove hopefully what is the one yellow. Gave that one a bit of a push. If it clear run around. We had a very polite Australian spectator then say, "Come on, Australia, please."
Yeah.
I respect that. I think that's good.
A response from New Zealand with the pom-poms up in the grandstand.
Very good.
I'd love to see some mascots for New Zealand and Australia at the next test.
Yeah, yes. I agree, although I'm not going to volunteer to be in the... I'm not hopping in a mascot suit. But I'd like to see them. Surely you get school kids or something.
I hope I haven't just volunteered myself for the Australian team.
You may have.
You may have.
I'd find someone for New Zealand. Kylie. No, you wouldn't be able to hear her. Does Angus get a bit brave here and have a nibble? Yeah. You know, the head's not setting up brilliantly, but you've sort of... That last ball of Paul's created almost a staggered split there, hasn't he?
Yeah, and this is where it comes back to, you know, we've spoken about being positive all week. This is where you need to back yourself and change it up.
And back your ability too, because you know you're good enough. You know, every player here is good enough to play every shot in the book.
That's right.
Angus on the forehand. Here we go. He's played it with nice weight. He's very close here. Great bowl. Half a bowl wide, I reckon. And a good shot nonetheless. Do you have any other... So, in New Zealand, we've got black and yellow and blue and orange are the 4 coloured bowls that we sort of play with. And we've got some brown bowls as well. What about you guys in Australia? Is there a mix of colours, or much of a mix of colours?
Yeah, there is a mix. I mean, black and yellow are the main colours that we use. But as I said, our recent national championships, we had orange and blue.
Yep. Great shot there from Paul Wright.
Yeah, great shot. And then other than that, we have our older, you know, maroon or brown bowls and black. But, you know, as you'd appreciate, they're a little bit harder to tell the difference between the black and the maroon colours. So they've been slowly phased out.
Yeah, I know in the outdoor game there's a multitude of colours. I play outdoor bowls and I've got, I think, a 7-coloured bowl. It's like a rainbow, just all the different ones.
Yeah.
Which I quite enjoy because people get upset about it. so it hurts their eyes to watch it go up. I'd love to see like a speckled indoor bowl, or you know, I think it'd be cool if we could design. Surely we could order from Henselite like an Australian bowl for the Test match and a New Zealand bowl. With like a black and silver New Zealand bowl with a kiwi on it or something, and you could do an Aussie bowl with whatever you have for Australia.
Kangaroo.
That's the one. You know, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd add to it. Someone listening can sponsor that.
Oh, that's changed things up there now.
It's quite a tight head, isn't it? As we see the Pauls discuss what they want to play. Looking like it might be one blue at the moment. And Paul Smith getting down on his forehand side.
There's 2 blues and that yellow on the side. There's going to come into play here. I think Shane's going to be thinking positive.
Paul. Be disappointed with that bowl. Angus has a look at the head. and indicating to Shane to play through that yellow bowl that you can see at 10 o'clock on the screen. Now it's at 6 o'clock on the screen.
Sorry, Alex. Bad timing.
Through that, at the very least, you're getting that yellow bowl through to the blue that sits at 12, which improves your head. If you're a little bit on the wider side, it's going to get movement of the jack as well. So a nice positive bowl here. Not as positive as I thought, to be fair, but still going to change the head in a good way.
Ooh.
That's fantastic. How well did that go? I think he was a bowl wide, to be fair, but it was one of the options.
Yeah, one
Good
of
shot.
the options. I think he would have been looking to squeeze the jack out there. But
That's probably why he played with that nicer weight. Instead of punching a bowl through to remove a blue, that I'll give myself 3 or 4 chances and just play that nice reaching bowl. So the idea of that was probably to develop the head, but it's actually gone well enough that he's probably holding the shot there now.
it's gone well. As I said, those 2 blues just at the back of the head, they were always a chance. So
Absolutely.
it's taken them out.
It'll be
now.
tempting to barrel that yellow that sits at 6 o'clock on your screen.
Yeah.
If you get it square, we know that the bowl you hit and the yellow bowl that sits at 12 is going, and then it's just down to the yellow bowl in between the two, how much of that blue that sits at 12 o'clock it gets.
Right.
Because if it's locked in, it's not so much fun, but if it isn't locked in, all 3 should go, you'll sit with a couple. And that again is something that you can see much easier when you're up there. I don't know who's opting for his backhand side, maybe the crunch onto that yellow bowl that you see at 12 o'clock. Okay, they must be holding.
We're blocking.
Because we're putting a block in. Didn't consider the fact that New Zealand might be holding the shot.
It doesn't look like it from our angles. So.
No. Well, that'll be an interesting thing for Australia too, because it should be that it just needs a bit of a rattle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that bowl that sits at 12 o'clock, the yellow, if you play 2 or 3 feet over to lift the blue up and then sit it back down, that's one way to get to yellow.
Yeah, they just need to make contact. It's going to change things up. So
Yeah, so New Zealand, Dave's just confirmed New Zealand is holding the shot. I think we will just see, just a reaching bowl anywhere, you know. You just want movement.
bit of a rattle.
And as long as you get that weight right, you're very likely to be holding 1 or 2 at the end of this. When they've made their decision. So we see Shane wander back to his end of the mat now. Here we go. Shane on the back end. Give himself every chance. Waiting for that ball to come back into the head. God, it was good weight, wasn't it?
Ooh, great effort.
They literally just wanted to hit anything, and then maybe that's what happens. Sometimes when you think I can hit anything, you find a gap.
That's it.
Angus saying, I think it's you. Okay.
Close one.
Good luck, umpire, is what I would say. Toss a coin. Oh, it's Les again from Victoria. That's all we know.
That's it.
What's he going to need there? Some,
Oh, I noticed you guys.
tissue paper or what? How's he going to do this?
I used to use cigarette papers,
Mm.
put them between the jack and the bowl. Most New Zealanders, under no circumstances, Candice. Most New Zealanders use cigarette paper to put between the jack and the bowl to see if it's touching. I think it's better than a feeler gauge, although thankfully less people are smoking cigarettes now, so cigarette paper is becoming a thing of an umpire's kit. that's all.
He's pulled for something.
He's gone for a little feeler gauge of some sort. Now, what I was going to ask you, I had this conversation with Sean, one of the ones. I noticed you guys have trammels for long. On a long measure, there was a fella here yesterday. There was a long measure. He had like a stick of metal that he put between the jack and a bowl, and
Yes.
then calipered between the jack and this bit of metal instead of using a tape. Is that usual in Australia, or do you use tapes for the long measures?
I guess it really depends on the person measuring, but I think the preference is not to use tape. I don't know what you use in New Zealand, but obviously with the tape, there's probably more margin for error.
That one's out, so I
Oh,
suspect
okay,
he's
that's
not
good.
given it to that one. That made you nervous, didn't it,
That was
Alex?
full panic there. Okay, that's interesting. I think I loved it when I saw it, because in New Zealand we only use tape measures,
Okay.
and I've always found them very stressful.
Yeah. Especially on those, those long measures
yeah,
as well.
and they're not designed for indoor bowls. Tape measures, they're designed for outdoor. So the tape's actually too
One
big.
blue.
One blue. Whew. Great eyes, Paul.
I'd like to see us sort of look into that in New Zealand and change what we use for our long measures.
But look, both are acceptable, so either or.
Right, 1 to New Zealand, so we now lead 8-4 after 8 ends of the 18 ends that will be played. 10 ends to go. Sean Blackburn leading off, chucking a long end. We haven't really seen anything other than long ends this game, have we? That I can remember.
Similar to the last game of men's fours. We didn't see many short ones either. They were generally middle to long.
So there's a general, I guess, view of the week so far. It's been a lot of longer ends. Haven't seen a great deal of really short bowls, so I wonder if that's a tactic that might come out later in the day.
Yeah, it's intriguing. I know the New Zealand team used to throw quite a lot of short ends in times gone by, but I suppose a short end gives a lot of room to. There's lots of room to do stuff, isn't there? I'm not sold that that's a good idea sometimes. Errol on that forehand side again, persisting with the swing.
I usually laugh when I'm playing with you, Alex, and if I throw up a short end, the looks down the other
No, I
end
give
are
you
usually...
the looks. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine as long as you then draw a toucher.
And then you draw a touch and you're like, short ends are fine. Oh, 2 great bowls from Sean Blackburn.
Okay, just for some people who've been asking, and we have covered it a couple of times, but must be tuning in, about players breaking the sideline and the square. In the international game, the bowl only has to exit out of the front of the box, so between the 2 corners, you can break the sidelines, which we almost see Gary Lowe do here on his backhand side. So that allows, it's probably because the Australian game are much longer mats.
Yes.
And because they're longer mats, you actually have to use the box, I would imagine, to get it to hold up sometimes.
Yes.
So it's an Australian rule that is in the international game, and unlike our domestic game. So you're fine to break the sideline. It's not an illegal bowl.
Yeah, that's right, and especially when we play on our 30-foot mats, at a basketball stadium halls, there's generally one side that's really swinging, and you really do need to move yourself right over.
Well, if you think about it, you play on the same surface as these international mats we've seen here, with the same bowls, and we've seen hands that people literally have to take as much wind as they can, and it goes centre. If you're adding 4 or 5 feet of length, you're going to have to be using your square a bit more. So it's an Australian rule. I quite like it. I think we should have it in a domestic game.
Oh,
Great bowl,
Gary.
Gary.
Gary Lowe, what a
Great
shot
bowl.
there. A great end developing here for the New Zealand Forts, what we were talking about before. Both these teams are capable of just switching on for an end, well, more on for an end, and going, boom, I've put 4 or 5 or 6 bowls within a few inches of the jack, as we see Hayden on his forehand with a bit of weight. He needs it to hold. Well, whoa, did he just about take a camera out? Jesus.
Steady. We've only got the 3.
Imagine that as an ending to a live stream, just a camera. Good hand here from the New Zealand team. It could all be ruined in one bowl, or improved or fixed in one bowl, depending on your perspective. Just didn't want to change anything.
Fraction wide.
Well, he needed all of it.
Yeah, so we're going to see Angus pop the jack out, aren't we? On his backhand. You see the jack's touching that bowl. Pop it out on your backhand to our left. Reset the head. Or we could go through the front one and pop it to our right, I suppose. Depends which way you want to do it, but regardless, there's going to be movement.
I think he's going to have to be careful about his weight here. It doesn't look like it's going into that back blue either.
Yeah.
So
If he plays on his backhand, he has to be careful with his weight. And I suppose the forehand shot, which is to your left as you see it for the viewers, which is indicating there, he can play a bit more weight because there's more stuff to go through before it gets jack movement. That's probably a smarter shot, I suppose.
might even be straight to into the bowl as well. So
Yeah.
there mightn't be a great deal of jack movement. So
No, I think I agree. I think we'll see that. I think it's a smarter bowl to play on your forehand with a bit of end of mat weight on your forehand side, which is to the left as you see it on the screen. Shane just indicating it's a big swing, so really he's almost, you could go, I want to get that yellow bowl off the mat, and I will be narrow. so good stuff's going to happen. Here we go. Angus on his forehand side. That was minimum possible weight. I'm surprised he opted to go that soft, to be honest.
I think I would have been looking a bit more aggressive on that shot.
Nope. See a kill there in the ladies singles. That end will be replayed. I like that rule too. I think we could take a couple from you guys. I like the idea that an end is replayed and that penalty points are accrued. In our game, often if you're well up with a couple of ends to go, it's a legitimate strategy just to kill the end.
Take it off, yeah.
Drop 2 points and you move to the next end, sort of thing.
And I guess it really comes into the tactics, right? If you're playing a weighted shot where the risk is there to take it off, you're thinking twice because you can go down, a lot more than say 4 shots in one end if you replay the end and lose that as well.
Absolutely.
On the plus side, if you're down and you're confident in your ability and you can make that number up again, then you have a crack. So.
If you're playing Phil Angell from Christchurch, you could play 74 ends if you take that on.
I think that's.
I think he drives with his first bowl. Does Phil?
He does. I think that's a conservative estimate, Dave.
Just a shout out to Phil Angell.
Of course, it did used to be that if the lead or two killed it, it was no penalty points in New Zealand. But that
would be regarded as an accident, would it? Or?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, about 70 years ago. You've been listening, Dave. Yeah. we changed that in the late 40s. It was changed.
Quite encouraging sort of thing. Like if you have a bit of a whoopsie off the front,
no worries. We'll just replay the end.
We'll just redo that.
But then people
it's
started.
Very convivial, isn't it?
It's a very sort of 30s and 40s rule, isn't it? Back in those days, everyone was nice, except for some people in Europe. I think they probably weren't that good then. I've lost my train of thought now.
Bowls.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but it's gone. It's gone.
So a good end here by New Zealand.
Great end.
That doesn't always mean a great result, but
it's built out nicely. We did see Paul Wright put that lovely cover bowl in on his forehand side to stop the if the jet goes out to our left. And I think Paul Smith will be doing a similar thing. Both Pauls sort of came through the ranks at similar times. I'm going to have a chocolate. What's going to happen here?
I don't think there's a great deal of change to what Angus was doing. I think, coming down on the forehand there with a bit of weight, he catches the yellow, might pop the jack there, he gets the bit narrow on that blue, and it changes things up for the second one. So, but then again, it looks like, did sort of look at the backhand there, but I'd be inclined to stick with the forehand.
I think he's settling on that, Eric. Whatever he does, it's a change-up bowl, right? This next bowl's got to change what's currently on.
Again, it might come back to the angle if that jack's popping through. We've got the couple of yellows at the back there, so might be what they're looking at.
Here we go. What were they saying?
Here he is. Good line.
Sure.
Shane on the backhand. What a bowl. What a bowl there.
Stop.
That is a magnificent shot.
Great bowl from the Sandman.
Absolutely brilliant. You just have to take your head off to that sort of shot. Beautiful weight control, well called. It was a head that 30 seconds ago was looking pretty blue.
Yeah.
So Paul's had a bit of a sighter here with a block he played earlier on. He went a little
Have
bit
the weight.
narrow on it.
Come on.
That's a good green for this.
Very close here from Paul Smith. Yep, he's in for the shot. Now, how many seconds do you have, and is it worth getting rid of this bowl? Or are you just drawing for one?
I'd say left 2, wouldn't he?
It looks like 2 seconds. In which case, are you on your forehand just playing through the blue? The problem is it's low of the jack.
Yeah, you get a slide and comes
Yeah.
back on the jack, so... New Zealand crowd erupting. You're a noisy bunch, aren't you?
Well, apparently. Jeez. I got nothing. Okay, Shane on the back end here. Opting just for the draw, I think.
Yeah.
Must have decided it was too dangerous, which is fair enough.
That's got to be tight for me. He's got to come under it. No, he's hitting it.
Great effort there. One blue. So New Zealand extends that lead just inch by inch now to a 9-4 lead after 9 ends at the halfway stage. 5 the difference. And I'm not sure from an Australian point of view if anything needs to change really. It's not like the heads have been... I don't think they've been consistently in any country's favour. Shane's probably had to play a couple more big bowls than what Paul has had to do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they'll think about changing anything. What are your thoughts?
Look, I still favour going down on this end. On the back end, you see Shane jumping straight on it, that sort of swingy hand. And he's absolutely nailing it. So that'd be my first sort of thought. Get Errol on the back end down here. Keep it tight. Wait for that opportunity to make a number to get back in the game.
Errol,
That's a good
great
start.
shot, yeah, good bowl. Great way to start off the end, and he's sat with a resting toucher as well. So we see Sean switch to the forehand side. Plays
Okay,
off.
the ladies'
you go.
singles has finished, and that's a win to Terry Blackmore. So that's currently the test match is square.
Great shot there from Sean
Yeah,
Blackburn.
great shot.
Plays off 1 knee on his forehand and 2 knees on his backhand, does Sean.
Certainly been very consistent this game so far.
Yeah, he's leading well. Errol on the forehand side. Oh, he's cleared
He's
that
played
front
it well
one.
too. That's
Lovely
great.
That's great
bowls.
leading there from Errol. Sean expressing his disappointment in that. Fair call.
Cutthroat at this level, isn't it? You draw 2 touches and you're 2 down.
Yeah, absolutely typical. So see Gary on the forehand. How's this bowl? How is it?
Oh, it didn't move. Up and over would have been beautiful.
Yeah, it's something I haven't got used to watching this game because your mats are thicker. In New Zealand, things don't need that much of a push, so our heads are often shifting quite a lot, and you get 3 or 4 bowls shifting with not much weight.
Yeah.
So that bowl there from Gary, he would have had enough weight to sit that blue up and over one.
Yeah.
And it's sort of...
Foot mat, probably from the last, week in camp, coming off the longer mats.